welcome back if you've been with us for the day, or welcome if it's the first time listening in. My name is Matt Greening. I'm the Head of Service Transformation at Service Desk Institute. I'm going to be your host for the rest of the afternoon. And so we've got with us today Sami Kallio. Sami is the CEO of Happy Signals, who are our sponsors today. They're based in Finland. Happy Signals' mission is to bring concrete employee experience measurement and management tools to global enterprises. They say they make it easy and actionable. So Sami's going to be talking about employee experience within the context of service management. He's going to speak about what makes people happy, what people don't like so much, what people hate. And he's also going to reveal some new data collected from more than 200 organizations from across the world, 90 different countries, and more than 110,000 employee feedback responses. So I think we're going to hear some really interesting and new stuff. So I'm just going to hand over to Sami. Sami, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. And we can hear you. So so I'll take it away, Sami.
All right. Thank you very much. So really feel good to be here today and being able to show you something that we have learned from more than 300,000 employees. So but today the focus is to go through the kind of the IT part, and in that we have 125,000 feedbacks in our benchmark. So it will be quite interesting, and also I have a quite good pressure on my shoulders to be able to kind of share to you what we have learned from that and what you can learn also from those direct feedbacks from employees all over the world. So okay, today we are going to go through this issue in a couple of stages. The most uninteresting thing is me, of course. So I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Happy Signals, been around in IT about 20 years doing digital service design and service design for big enterprises, and now helping service management to really take those best practices from consumer world inside IT, inside service management. My mission is to help you guys to understand what really is the kind of essence of employee experience and how to make your services be better from their point of view. And this is, of course, the main point what I'm talking about today. What we are going to do is I will first try to motivate you. Okay, employee experience, everybody talks about it nowadays, but still I want to give you one thing about it that might motivate those people that are not kind of the key experienced people, because there is also quite a lot of money involved. So I will go through that first. But then we will go deeper to that 125,000 employee feedbacks. So in the title of my presentation, it was 110. Now it's already 15,000 more in the on continuous feedback that I'm going to share today. So as Matt said, I'm going through the love and hate. I will go through very fast about the love thing, and let's concentrate on the hate thing, because what I want to do here is help you guys to learn and kind of concentrate on those things that would get your employees to be more satisfied with the services. I'll also go through so-called employee profiles and how kind of what kind of employees you have, how that influences how and what kind of services you should be offering to your employees. Also some practical tips about that. Then I will go through the service channels. Here's one task for you when you're listening to the presentation. Just think about it, that what is the most annoying channel from employees' point of view. And this channel part, we are measuring employee channels from walking, chat, portal, phone, and email. So which of these 5 is the one that is bringing least good experience to the employees? And then I will also talk a bit more about the culture things. The last presentation was about it as well. And there are some things that we can also kind of link to that very heavily, that you have to kind of think what and where your employees are coming from and what kind of employees you have. Also from the cultural point of view, so how they are rating services and so on. And of course, time for the Q&A. But first, the motivation. Maybe that's not needed, but still wanted to do it. But we just have to, before going through the kind of the results, I want to explain you one thing, because I'm using quite heavily so-called happiness score. And you have to understand how that was collected and how that is kind of calculated. So happiness score is the same mathematics that in consumer world is called Net Promoter Score. So the question typically is, would you recommend? But we are not asking that kind of question inside enterprises, but we are asking employees to rate their service experience. The thing that all that 125,000 feedbacks that is collected immediately after ticket is resolved. So when agent resolves a ticket, these employees have gotten an email that rate your service experience by clicking a number from 1 to 10. This 1 to 10 scale is divided to 3 different categories. So only 9 and 10 are seen as positive. 7, 8 is neutral. Under 7 is negative. The so-called happiness score is done in this way, that is calculating the percentual amount of 9 and 10 minus the percentual amount of less than 7. 7 and 8 doesn't matter so much here. And the reason for this is that only the 9 and 10 people will be telling the happy stories to other employees. And only the people that are rating the services under 7 will tell the past stories. So we recommend to focus on the kind of the both ends. Okay, these people that are rating services 7, 8, they are important as well, of course, but to get more happy feedback, you have to kind of think about the both ends. And if you're thinking about the reputation of service management and IT service management, that's the way to go. But now, do the benchmark. These 2 figures here are from those organizations that we are measuring. The best enterprises, or maybe not best enterprises, but who are having the best IT support, those employees from those companies are rating the services so that the highest level is about 75. There are some cases, some customers that have been in a level of 80, and that really means that there is about 85 or 90% of people are rating the service with 9 or 10. So that is really, really high score. The lowest scores that we are measuring is about 40. It sounds that these 2 things are very near to each other, but we also ask employees to estimate how much time did they lose because of a certain IT problem, or in IT service management language, IT issue. The average, if the happiness is in high level, so 75, in those companies, employees estimate that they are losing on average about 1.5 hours per each incident ticket. The other end, if it is 40, then they are losing almost 6 hours or even more than 6 hours per incident. So what we see here is that there is almost, or there really is in some cases, 4 times difference between the lost work time from employees' experience point of view. And now we have to remember here that this is their experience. It's a different thing than how much time was used for the ticket by the agent. So this is an additional lost work time. Okay, the agents have to use some time for the ticket, and then the employees are using some time for it as well. The benchmark figure today was exactly 3 hours, 3 minutes. So it is not anymore exactly 3 hours. And the happiness score on average among all our clients is 61. And I think we can be really proud of this 61, because if that is compared to any consumer services, that is a high score. There are so few brands that are having, let's say, teleoperators are not even near to this score if we compare this directly to the Net Promoter Score of consumer services. So kind of we can, in a way, be proud of the average level where we are. But if we think about the lost work time, we can really gain some more if concentrating on the employee experience as well. So I'm kind of thinking this area in a way that many people are thinking that we are in service management, we are really bad in serving people. But if I compare this to my previous experience, is that we are not so bad. But there is still much to gain if we concentrate on the employee experience even more. Now, the real motivation slide. How much does it cost to have a bad experience? My example is a company with 10,000 employees. They would have about 80,000 tickets annually, so about 8 tickets per employee. It can be even more in some cases, but I think this is kind of a rough, good estimate for that. Let's use 50 euros, 50 pounds, $50, whatever is the local currency for you. but let's use that as an internal employee average price. Then we take the 3 hours from our benchmark. And the terrible number in this kind of organization is that the IT incidents is costing them 12 million per year in lost productivity. We cannot forget this one, but of course it is so that this number here, we cannot save everything. But let's say if you guys, by developing the services for your end users, would be able to save them 15 minutes per ticket, which is not too much. Typically, we recommend our clients to try to save half an hour during the first year when they are changing the way to be kind of employee driven. Then, but if they are able to save this 15 minutes in this level of company that has 10,000 employees, they would save 1 million, which is quite much money. So if you now look at this slide and think about what has happened in IT service management during the last 10 years, everybody has been cost driven. Yes, this is cost driven as well, but totally from a different point of view. So if you are just optimizing the ticket cost and how efficient we are inside IT, we might be causing enormous loss in the business side. Of course, this is also something that is really, really interesting for your business, the business units that you are serving, to be talking about the time and the efficiency from their point of view. So for us, what we try to help enterprises to do is optimize the whole business case. How much is the ticket cost when resolving the ticket, and how much time is needed from employee's point of view. Somebody might be thinking that am I against of people doing self-services and so on? Totally not. I just love that area, but you have to calculate the whole thing from both parties to be doing that in an efficient way. All right, let's go deeper to the how this works and what is the situation. But now still one thing, sorry, about the IT service management compared to the other areas. So now you might be thinking that what are these numbers, but these are requests, so IT requests. For those employees are a bit more satisfied, they are losing a little less time. If we compare IT service management to finance, you can see that we are doing much, much better. And it is really scary that in finance area, those employees are estimating that they are losing almost 8 hours. But we now have to remember that the users of finance services are really critical controllers and people that are in really bad pressure from the kind of timing and money point of view. So I'm thinking that this is something that we have to follow up during the next years and get more and more feedback and understanding that why is it so high. But quite kind of in a way obvious is that IT is not doing as well as HR. So those people that are in human relations, they are better to do these kind of services than we in IT are. They are losing little less than 1 hour on average. Of course, there are different cases in different companies and so on, but on average, it seems like HR is doing the best service for employees, IT is the second one, and finance is just learning how to do these kind of services for employees. But now, love and hate. So the first slide is about those people that rated the service with 9 and 10. When they rated their experience to be 9 or 10, they were asked that what were the biggest reasons for happiness. We will give them 6 different options, and now we will show you the reasons behind it. This percentual amount here is that employees are asked to select as many as they want, but what were the reasons that you were happy? 80% of them selected I learned something. This is for some kind of a certain kind of an employees, this is even much more higher number, and it has been rising in this our scaling during the last 2 years. But even more is service was proactive. That is getting bigger and bigger and more important all the time, which means that the expectation level from your employees is increasing, meaning that it is not enough that you just take care of those tickets that employees send to you. It is starting to come to another direction that you should be contacting them and correcting things proactively. In the beginning, 2 years ago, this was about 9 or 8%. Now it's 21. So some of our clients are really doing this proactively already now, but it is still something that separates very heavily in different organizations and different service desks. I was informed about the progress, 31%. Starts to be really, really important thing if we think about it from the experience point of view. The interesting thing here is that we will go through this same factor when we go do the negative things, but this factor is more and more important if your service desk is not doing well. So the one easy question for everybody there listening to me is that, are your employees asking for better status follow-up pages for your portal, or are they just saying that they don't know nothing about what happens to the ticket when they send it? These kind of questions are telling to me that most likely the overall satisfaction to your service desk is not good. Because what we have seen that if service desk is on the level 75, people don't really care about this one anymore. It is about they know it, they get the resolution enough fast, so it doesn't matter if there is a status follow-up page. So it is kind of a thing that changes when you are getting better. The volume and the interest of this factor is getting lower when your service is on better level. Then, quite obviously, you need to have great people serving employees in your service desk. Service personnel skills and attitude, you need to have those in good level to get people really satisfied. And obviously, the most important reason is the speed of service. I will also come back to this one, what it really means from the employee's point of view, because it doesn't mean how fast you are answering the phone. It has almost nothing to do with the speed of service. If it's asked from the employees how they would explain what is the speed of service, it is totally different thing that we are typically measuring in service desks. But then the more important thing, what they hate. Let's start first from the personal skills. So these are the factors people selected when they selected less than 7. So what was the reason they were unsatisfied? What must be done in a better way next time? Attitude, only 4%. So typically people in service desk are not annoying. They are not pissing the collar off. They are polite and doing that quite well. So it is the least important thing, or isn't least important, not least important thing. Of course, it is really important they have the right attitude, but it's not enough to get people pissed off. So you are doing it quite well. Service personnel skills, 14%. So now, if they are not meeting the expert directly, if these guys are not on the same technical level than the caller, it is much more annoying than the attitude. Then there are these two factors with 7%. Instructions were hard to understand. On average 7%, but of course it's depending on how you are doing the services in that area. I didn't know where to start, again 7%. And that one, you have to think about this question in a way that, yes, we all here maybe think that the portal is there and they know the one number and they know the email, but that might not be the fact. When we started this Happy Signals company, we interviewed 500 people from different kind of organizations, from retail to paper factories or post offices and all that, just to understand that how these guys really experience the service desk. And one thing, when we gave them tasks, order a mouse or send a kind of an answer question about this software or something like this, they almost every time started from the internet. Now there is one tip: just take one normal employee, not from IT, normal employee, ask him this question: show me how you would order a mouse, or how you would tell us about an incident, and make them start that from their internet, because that way how they will find the portal and how they will find the right contact persons is in many cases working really badly. So just try that. It's easy to know if there is something in your case to be fixed or not. I wasn't informed about the process here about in the same level that it's for the positive side. Now let's take those 3 most negative things here one by one. I had to explain my case several times, 31%. This is direct wordings from one of the employees that have been rating services, or we have seen this in a version of pingis ball and tennis ball. When working with IT, I feel like a tennis ball. And now this is too common. Employees are pushed from different team to different team to find the solution. Here, one fact from the benchmark as well. So if the ticket is resigned from team to team, these are the averages coming from our client. So if it's resolved in the first phone call or with first email, employees are rating the services to be 74 and they are losing little less than 2 hours. If it's resigned once, they are still quite happy, 68, so over the average, losing 2 hours, 12 minutes. Now, again, resigned to another team, not so happy, much over the average. And if you check these numbers here, it seems to be that about 10%, 10 points in happiness score is lost every time the ticket is resigned to a different team. But even more importantly, employees are estimating that they are losing 1 hour more with every reassignment. So you really should think about ways. For example, there was one case here in Finland, our client, that they changed when they saw these kind of numbers, they changed the way how they take tickets in from their portal. So if the user was kind of a key user level user, they were not taken to the SPOC. They were taken directly to the second level. That way, this company saved quite a lot of time from the employees, but they even saved much time from the resolution part as well. But just one idea how and what should be and must be done to make the employees happy. So I'm not saying that in all cases you should forget SPOC, no, but you should think about the ways how to recognize the expert inside SPOC, or in some cases to take the ticket directly to a different team. Second biggest reason of unhappiness is, I could even say this is a bit sad. My ticket was not solved. 1/3 of the employees are saying that they are rating the services very low because they didn't get any help. What they say about in these cases is that, and also, yeah, this thing, sorry, I forgot it. I didn't get help, and then still you close the ticket. You can imagine how annoying that is from the employee's point of view. But if you think about this, why this happens is that in service desk, of course it happens that the service desk is responsible for only some of the services, and then there is a customer's own team or another team that is taking is responsible for some of the tickets. So not the SPOC is really working in these cases, I know, but the thing is that you should really get rid of these. This is so annoying, and these guys will definitely tell the story to another colleague that how badly the service was working for them. And it is not about communication. You cannot communicate enough so that they would know when they have a certain kind of an issue, that they would know where to contact. It has to be on time. They have to have a portal that helps them to contact right place, or they have to have one phone number to call. But there are also some reasons that are not so bad. I didn't get help from the IT support because one colleague helped me before that. Or from the experience point of view, employees feel that it was not solved. It is if it happens fast enough again. So it is broken again kind of thing. And these feedbacks are also something that if people selected this one, these are really things that they wrote about the ticket and what was kind of their thinking behind it. But then again, it was the biggest reason for happiness, but it is also the biggest reason of being pissed off with the services. Happiness, this was 75, but here in not so happy part, it is, let's say, only 56% of the people are saying that the reason for speed of service. But let's first concentrate on what is the speed of service from employee's point of view. So the thing is that when I notice that I have a problem or incident, the time starts from the employee's point of view from that moment. It might be that he will try to resolve it by themselves. They will talk to a colleague, then they will contact service desk, and the time ends only after the employee has seen that, okay, now I have a working resolution for this one. So there is how fast you are answering a phone is very, very small part of the experience that your employees are experiencing. It's quite simple thing, but the thing that you should be optimizing is their experience and how they can get from the time they understand the problem to the thing that it is already resolved. All the other parts are not important from employees' experience point of view. How you went there from the A to B, only that matters when they are rating the services from the speed perspective. This is also a direct comment from one of our clients. He says that he is chess master, but he says that the thing is that what he experiences with IT support, it's like playing chess. What he means by this is that he says that it's like when you are having that issue and the ticket handling with the agent, it feels that they are just trying to stop the clock. And you guys know that there are SLAs that are measuring how much time was used for this ticket. And this is what it ends up to from the experience point of view. So we also have asked from employees that would you like to see the SLAs and how much time is estimated to be used in this case? And employees say directly that no, this is my case. I don't care about the averages. So you have to remember that for them it is one-time case. For you it is one of the 10,000 cases per month or something. Also, sorry to be kind of a critical here, but I think that's the only way how to make changes. But yeah, I don't think the agent read my original email. This is also something that will end up in a situation that they feel that the speed of service is terrible. They have to explain it again and again. And as you can also understand, this the speed of service, and I had to explain it several times, they are linked to each other quite heavily. So in overall, this is the kind of the where to concentrate on average. But of course, there are quite big differences between different companies. You have different kind of employees from different kind of cultural backgrounds and so on. But this is coming from that 125,000 employees. So if you would have to guess, just please use this data and start to think what you could do in a better way to make your employees be more satisfied. Then about the support profiles, I'm just looking at the time and trying to maybe speed up a bit. This is a thing that was done by a psychologist. So it was not me, IT guy. It was done by a psychologist after interviewing about 100 employees globally. The thing is that we want to be able to divide employees to 4 different categories to be able to serve them in a different way. The question that we are asking employees is that how technical you are. So how competent you are with IT. And the other question is that when you have an IT issue, do you try to solve it yourself or do you just contact service desk? So this divides people to 4 different categories. Doer is a person that always tries to solve the problem by themselves. Is technical, is helping others. It's also the biggest profile. So 52% of all that 125,000 is doer. So you have really, really much people that are technical and want to be technical, and want to be seen as technical. Then on the other side, you have about 40% of supported people, meaning that they feel unconfident. They call service and can start the phone call by saying, sorry, I'm stupid with IT, please help me. It's quite easy to make these guys happy because they are thinking that it must be my fault anyway. On the other hand, we have prioritizer. So a person that could be able to solve the problem by themselves, but thinks that it is not my task. It is IT that should take care of these things. So he will just contact the service desk and not try to solve the problem on his own. Maybe surprisingly, but the trier is the hardest profile. they will avoid contacting service desk quite heavily because they are ashamed of their own IT skills. So they are kind of pushed to try to solve the problem by themselves. They are dreaming to be doer. When they call, they try to use technical terms even though they don't understand them. And that's the reason why they very, very rarely call you. They will use email and portal so that they have time to go through your answers with the doer or at home with their son or somebody that knows the technical terms. So these are the four kind of profiles. And now one slide about the doer. So they love to talk directly with expert. They use self-healing tools. They hate to explain their case several times, and even more, they hate if you start the phone call by asking, did you put your computer? I think I've seen this. I hate to be asked once in a day if I look through the feedbacks that we are getting for our clients. But the thing is that what this means, when you know and when people are having and you know how your people are divided different profiles or how, but that helps your agents to do their work better. So when agents know that we have these kind of employees and when a doer calls, they know how to serve them. It has been really fun to be talking about these profiles to agents because every agent know that these kind of profiles exist, and now we are just giving them a language how you can talk about them and how you can learn to make your service and how you speak differently between different kind of an employees. Of course, this is also making it kind of a fun for them in a way. But now if we are talking about the benchmark, I will now go directly to our benchmark page in our web service. I still hope that you can all see this. But if you go happysignals.com/benchmark, all these pages are there available. You can use them openly as much as you can and will. There is not any fees and anything like that coming from these. All right, thanks, Matt. But if you now look at these results, so these are the averages coming from all our clients. You can see that there are 62% of doers, and doers are scoring the services the lowest. Prioritizers are quite critical as well. Triers and supported, which are the untechnical people, they are more happy with services. Then you can see the lost work time. And it is not a surprise that doers are losing most of the time, because now if you think about it, they have resolved quite many cases before contacting service desk. So those cases, when they contact you, those cases are quite complicated. And that's why it takes more time. And also that is the reason why they are unsatisfied. And now if you think about this future of IT service management, you will have more and more of these doers contacting your service desk. So the agents' technical skills are the key to make employees happy. Then I ask you to think about it from the channel's point of view. That was a kind of a trick question because I think that many of you are thinking that portals are the way to make people happy. But on average, portals are getting the lowest score. In fact, today, first time in a history that we have been doing this, email and portal are having the same score here. About 3 months ago, portal was still in level of 53, if I remember right, and it was losing 1 hour more than email. So now seems that our customer base has been able to improve the portal services so that they are now on same level that email. But doing the portals just in a way that you just have them, it is not helping employees. You have to do it in a level that is using their language and it is not too complicated to use. And now you have to remember we are asking their experience. When they are using your portal, they are comparing their experience to the portals they are using in their civil lives. So that also makes it quite hard to make them happy with the portal, but that's the expectation level they are nowadays having. Walking chat, getting the highest scores, as you can see here, and also they are the most efficient from the employee's point of view. Could be talking about this hours if needed, but Let's not do that this time. Then the cultural differences. So it really matters what kind of employees you have, how technical they are, but it also matters from where they are. So in this map, all countries that are under our benchmark are red. Countries that are over it are green. So let's take, for example, here, United Kingdom. In United Kingdom, happiness is on average 63. Lost work time is over average. So in UK, people are still happy even though they are losing more time. If you then think about, let's say, Germany, one of the most critical countries in Europe, but not as critical as Netherlands, which is the most critical nation in this service management area in Europe. But if we go to Malaysia or Singapore, I can show you here. Singapore is too small that I can hit it from the map. In Singapore, they are rating the IT services on a level 34 and estimating that they are losing almost 12 hours per day. So in that culture, the working culture is so tight that all you need to have the answers really, really fast. So it is about the expectation again. So they are not really happy with the services, even though it would be the same level of service as in another country. In Netherlands and in Germany, it seems from our feedback point of view that in these countries you will get feedback if you really want to make your point. Scandinavian countries are all in about same level, a little under the benchmark, and then there are kind of things that we might expect that in US people are more kind of willing to give positive feedback, and that can be seen here that they are giving a bit more than the average, but still losing quite much time. Then what was interesting to notice sometimes is that we all might think that in Africa, when we are thinking about the time, it doesn't matter so much. And that seems to be the case if you look at the feedbacks here. So in Kenya, they are really happy even though they lost 6 hours. Also in South Africa, the same thing, not so critical, but still over 5 hours and people are happy. So if you have a global service desk, you cannot directly compare the service quality in different countries. You have to think about the cultural things and compare that to, for example, our benchmark or do the comparison in some other way. All right, I think we are about in a time ending this. So I really, really thank you. I hope this was interesting to you to hear about the employee experience, and I hope I did deliver the experience to you in a good way. Also today, Pasi from our company was talking earlier about the employee experience and kind of what that is when it is used on top of the traditional SLAs. And I think the SDI people are going to launch these recorded speeches. So if you want, just look at that one, and he's telling about the case examples that some clients have done to kind of change the traditional SLAs to be more employee-centric and what that means. Also, we just published a new page, happysignals.com/shine. You can find this presentation from me and Pasi from there. Also, some links to our product, how the information was collected, and some business case calculation things and that kind of stuff. But if there is any questions, I'm more than willing to answer those.
Thanks, Sami. That was excellent. It was really interesting. I love the stats personally. I find it fascinating to find out this stuff. So, could you tell us how you gathered this data together?
Yeah. So we are measuring this. All those that were in the first place, they are our clients. So we are measuring this continuously. We connect our product to their ticketing systems, and we are kind of replacing the way how, let's say, Service Desk or PMC Remedy or other platforms are asking it, and collect it from all these clients in exactly the same way. So that's why it is comparable. So you can see your results against the benchmark. So it is continuous measurement. And as you can see, the title of my presentation, 110,000 feedbacks, but now today it was 125,000 feedbacks from the last 6 months. So benchmark is getting bigger and bigger during the growth of our company.
So you're able to allow your clients to benchmark themselves against your other clients? Is that something that you allow your clients to do?
That is something we do. So in our service, you can see how your services are doing, but you can also compare your situation per profile and per country and per channel and so on. So you can really kind of learn from the others, even though you have your separate results, of course. But it's kind of one key of our product is that you can always use that benchmark to compare your situation to that one. But we are also giving that benchmark free for others to be using it if they want to kind of use it directly that from the happysignals.com/benchmark that is available there. So use that data still as much as you can, or it's not stealing.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic that you've made it open and available for people to go and download. So I'm certainly going to have a look in detail myself, and I would encourage anyone listening to go to your website and have a look as well.
Yeah.
One of the questions that's come up, and I think it's a really good one for those organisations that maybe don't use a service such as yours. Maybe they're running their own event management. Is how best to analyze that data that they do get. It may be a much smaller sample size than you would have, but to analyze that data and try and find meaningful patterns.
Yeah, I think the key issue is make it continuous, meaning that looking at these kind of results once in a year doesn't really help. So you really have to dig in the details, and you should not only concentrate on the one number, because the one average number doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't help you focus. You have to find what services you are doing well, or what countries are doing the service well, and do that in whatever way you need to do it. Also, one thing that is really crucial to get scores is that you should change the message to the agents. Because if agents are measured and you are telling them that is really the key issue is how fast you are, that is a big mistake. The key issue that should be said and shown to the agent is that how happy the employees are with their services. And what I mean by this is make a way when you ask this feedback from employees, and if you are able to get relevant amount of feedback, show that feedback directly to the agent who resolved the ticket. And that is also one part how we have done it here, but you can do it maybe with the other technologies as well. So when employees are rating the service experience, show that directly to the agent that resolve it so that they can learn. It's also much more about learning, because if you think about the 61 on average, that was the average happiness score in IT incidents. It means that about 75% of all feedback is positive. If you feed that to the agents daily, on continuously, they will get positive feedback on their work, which is really hard work, and they will be more motivated. And then when it happens that they get the negative feedback, they have energy to learn from it. And that's, if I would say one thing that you should do if you measure employee experience, do that first. That you make the link from the employee directly to the agent and tell to the agents that this is the thing you want to follow up. You will see immediate results.
Fantastic. That's really good, Sami. I don't think there are any more questions, so it just remains for me to say thanks once again for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. For those people, if you joined a little late and missed the start, you can get that. As Sami was saying, we will be sharing copies of recordings of the webinar, so you can go and listen again if there's anything that you missed, and yeah, they'll be available on our website. So once again, thank you, Sami.
No problem. My pleasure.
Next up, we have Dr. Maurizio Corona. He'll be starting his presentation at 4 p.m. UK time. That's a presentation on achieving a great customer experience through a brilliant service desk. So I'll encourage you to join at 4 p.m. UK time to hear Maurizio speak. Thank you very much.